Hello, wonderful. It is Sarah, and I want to talk to you about toxic friendships, which is something probably all of us have dealt with. For those of you who aren't brand new to the group, I go to Dallas pretty much once a month to have a conference with several executive females there, women in leadership. And one of the things, we took a fibro B test. And I scored very high on my need for inclusion. I do not like to be left out of the party. I like to be the party, really, but I don't like to be left out of the party. And I scored very high on affection, okay? So I want you to feel welcome. I want you to feel wonderful. I want to feel welcome. I want to feel wonderful. And I had a very low need for control, okay? And I talked about how this is a great setup for a toxic person to swoop in because they can control. And I, because of my personality type, I am still willing to be affectionate and want to be included because the relationship means so much more to me than being right. Now, obviously, this is something I've worked on and quite in depth and something I help my clients work on, right? But we talk a lot about partners and parents, and we don't talk a lot about toxic friends. But the same personality of a high need for inclusion, high need for infection, low need a low need for control attracts controlling people because they say, great, I can control her. I can get what I want. She's not going to fight me on things. A relationship's going to be more important than the result. And that can set up a really dangerous friendship situation as well because everyone thinks, oh, no, it's my brother that's toxic. It's my mother that's toxic. It's my boss that's toxic. And it's all about one word, and that is control. Who is in control? They want to power over you. And they can do this by being the hero. Oh, you should listen to me. Or by being the victim. Oh, you should help me. But either way, you are doing the work of the relationship and they are avoiding the work of the relationship. And if you are a person who's like, oh, it's just no big deal, it's fine, they can have their way, you have probably, I'm raising my hand right now. Well, I'm actually holding the camera, so my tripod's like broken, so anyway, I'm holding the camera. But if you are someone who cares more about the relationship than getting your way, watch out for all the relationships that you have now where they are always getting their way. And if you're like me, then you thought eventually it would be your turn. If you stuck around long enough, eventually it would be your turn. And with toxic people, it's never your turn. It's always their drama. It's always their situation. It's always their needs are more important than yours. It's always you helping them. They are like, on my client call this morning, I was talking about toxic people. It's almost like Jack and the Beanstalk, right? And they become these giants in our lives. And we make ourselves tiny and small to try to appease the relationship. And so sometimes your need to you not have to get your way, to forgive easily. These are great qualities in healthy relationships. It's a great quality with my husband now. It's a great quality with my healthy friendships. But I had friends in college that my college roommates said I could not have a friend over. They said she is mean to you and we don't like her. And I was like, oh, she's just that way. It's not about me. She's just that way. It's not about me. And I felt very important in her life because she would always ask me to do stuff. She always needed me. And it felt good to be needed because it felt like needed was the same as wanted. And it protected me from some type of rejection. It protected me from being alone. It protected me from being lonely. I hate being lonely. I hate being alone, even now with all the work I've done. And I still love being around people, which is what those personality tests kept talking about last week. I'm just going to embrace that. I'm just going to embrace that piece of my personality because I know how to have healthy relationships. And I feel like so many of you guys, you feel like if there's a toxic friend, for example, the only choice is stay with a toxic friend or be lonely. And there are more choices. There are learning how to have healthy relationships, learning how to have balanced relationships where it's not one person that holds all the power, one person that's always getting their way. Because if there's any relationship in your life that it's never your turn and it's always their turn, it's not a healthy relationship. It's not a partnership. And if that's a parent, if that's a coworker, if that's your kids, if that's whoever it is, it's not a healthy, balanced relationship. So keep a watch on that. Watch out for times and situations that it's never your turn. Watch out for friends who are always playing the hero, which is telling you how to run your life, or playing the victim, which is telling you that you need to help them run their life. Okay, both are equally as destructive. Watch out for if you feel the need to be needed, because it's not the same as being wanted. And being needed feels very powerful, but it sucks us in. And then we end up with a savior complex. I heard someone talk about, and they said they're a helpaholic. And I was like, oh man. And that can be every bit as powerful and as addictive as being an alcoholic, as being just that need to save can really distract us from saving ourselves. And that includes friendships. So don't let your friends talk bad to you. Don't, there are other choices other than be friends with them or be lonely. You can make other friendships. I hope that helps, and I hope you are having an awesome day. See ya.